guys, so this video is not exactly like x-ray related, but it's kind of healthcare related, and I actually learned this fact from a patient that came in, and they told me about this and I thought it was really cool. So I'm just gonna share this with you. So the average body temperature of the human body is no longer 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit. So back in 1851, there was a German doctor named Karl Wunderlich, I think that's how you say it in German. He determined that the average body temperature for a human being was 98.6 degrees Fahrenheit after he took the temperatures of about 25,000 patients in a certain city where he lived. And then that has been in textbooks ever since. So a new study conducted in the United States from Stanford University found that the human body temperature has slowly been decreasing through the decades and is now closer on average to 97.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So that is a little bit more than a degree lower than what we were taught in school. The study also showed that our body temperature has been consistently dropping since the 1970s by about 0.05 degrees Fahrenheit per decade. So that's just like so crazy. It sort of does make sense to me though, because my temperature is always lower than 98.6, and then whenever I take other people's temperatures, most of the time it is lower than 98.6. It's usually like 97.9 or something around there. So one theory suggests that people have grown taller and heavier over time, causing metabolic rates to slow. Modern medicine has helped to reduce diseases that cause inflammation, such as syphilis, tuberculosis, and gum disease, so periodontal diseases. So inflammation in the body is what increases your body temperature. Some people also suggest that air conditioning and heating might be why we have a little bit of a lowered body temperature, because we don't have to focus on trying to regulate our temperature as much as they did back then when they didn't have air conditioning and they didn't have really good heaters. It could be because our environments are more regulated. Now, in this time of people taking their temperature all the time, people kind of get confused on what an actual fever is. So, the official definition of a fever is if your temperature is higher than 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius. The normal body temperature is around 37 degrees Celsius. Anything between 98.6 and 100.4 is a low-grade fever, which is not an official fever, but you may not really feel that good, and you have to kind of just take care of yourself, and keep track of it, because it could end up becoming a fever. So, a persistent low-grade or high-grade regular fever, so above 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, could be a sign that you have a certain medical condition, including hyperthyroidism or other endocrine system disorders, and you should probably see a doctor if your fever is just lingering. Young children are more likely to spike really high fevers, like 103, 104, 105 degrees Fahrenheit, because their bodies are not very good at regulating their body temperature. And if a child does end up getting a super high fever like that, you should give them fever reducers and call the child's pediatrician. A really important fun fact that I didn't know until I started working at an urgent care was that if an infant who is 3 months or younger ends up getting a fever, which would be 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, you need to call the patient's pediatrician or go to the emergency room. If you call them, they'll probably just tell you that they need to go to the emergency room. And this is because newborn babies are at a high risk of serious infections, and babies that age get sick really, really fast because their immune systems don't mature until they are around 2 to 3 months of age. It is a very serious thing if a little baby gets a fever. So I'm not a doctor, so I can't officially give like real medical advice, but you probably don't want to waste your time going to an urgent care if we are most likely just going to send them to the emergency room. So you might want to call the pediatrician and get their final say. But yeah, it is a serious medical emergency if a baby has a fever. Okay, well, thank you so much for watching. I thought that was kind of a really interesting thing to talk about. Bye.